Hello, we're the Alysi team, and we're here today because we believe we can solve one of humanity's greatest challenges. It all comes down to a simple, powerful idea, turning sunlight and seawater into fresh water for everyone. At the very heart of what we do, our vision is powered by two of the most incredible, most abundant resources on Earth, the vast oceans of seawater and the endless power of sunlight. We see a future where clean, fresh water isn't a luxury, but a reality for everyone, everywhere. So the big question is, how do we actually get there? I mean, the challenge we're facing is enormous, a global crisis of staggering scale. But the good news is, there is a clear pathway forward. It's not just a dream, it's a plan. All right, so to really grasp the solution, we first need to understand the problem we're working so hard to solve. Let's take a closer look at the global water crisis. Think about this number for a second, 2.1 billion. That's how many people right now don't have access to safe drinking water. It's just a staggering figure. Behind that number are real people, real communities, struggling every single day for the most basic thing we all need to live. And here's the tough part. This problem is only getting worse. You know, with climate patterns shifting all over the world, our freshwater reserves, the ones we've relied on for centuries, are under more and more threat. This isn't some far-off prediction. It's happening as we speak. And this is a big one. We're talking about almost 80%, 80, of coastal areas are projected to have seawater creep into their freshwater sources by 2100. Just imagine that. The very wells people depend on are becoming salty and undrinkable. The ocean is literally taking over our freshwater. So you might be thinking, well, don't we already have desalination? And yes, we do. But here's the catch. Conventional methods are often part of the problem. They run on fossil fuels, they guzzle energy, and they pump out greenhouse gases. So what we're aiming for is something completely different, a solution that's 100% renewable, radically efficient, and actually helps heal our planet. Okay, so this is where it gets really exciting. We've identified a clear path forward. It's not about finding one single magic bullet. Instead, it's about 5 key innovations that all work together to unlock the potential of seawater. Key number 1 is all about cost. It has to be affordable. Our goal is to make clean water radically inexpensive. We're talking less than 50 cents for a cubic meter. That's way cheaper than conventional methods, and in many cases, it's even cheaper than what people pay for their city water right now. All right, key number 2. For this to work, for it to be a real solution, it has to run 24/7. But the sun goes down every night, right? The obvious answer might seem like batteries, but that introduces a whole new set of problems. They're expensive and they use a ton of resources. We needed a smarter way. And just look at this. This shows you exactly why going battery-free is such a game changer. Batteries can make up a huge chunk of a system's cost, like a quarter of the entire price tag. Getting rid of them is absolutely crucial to making this affordable on a global scale. So what's the smarter way? Well, instead of storing electricity in a battery, we store the sun's heat. Think of it like a giant, super efficient thermos. This is way, way cheaper, like 3 to 5 times cheaper than battery storage. Then we can use that stored heat to keep things running all night, only using the grid as a small backup when needed. It's all about working smarter. Now for key number 3, zero waste. I love this part. You see, with traditional desalination, you're left with this super salty brine that gets dumped back into the ocean, which isn't great. We see it differently. That brine is actually full of valuable minerals. So we've designed a process to harvest things like sodium and magnesium, turning waste into a resource and completely eliminating that ocean discharge. Okay, so we have these core innovations, but how do we apply them in the real world? Let's look at how this whole thing scales up, from small local wells all the way to entire global grids. This is where keys 4 and 5 come in. We see 2 types of systems working hand in hand. For smaller communities, we have these brilliant, modular, containerized units. We can deploy them rapidly to bring clean water to thousands of people. Then, for big coastal cities, we're talking large-scale infrastructure designed to serve hundreds of thousands or even millions of people. And this is maybe the most important part. We don't want these projects happening in silos. We're building a global framework to connect it all. Everything is open source, we share designs, we share data, we create universal standards. The whole point is to help everyone learn from each other and move faster, together. We're not reinventing the wheel in every new city, we're building on our collective success. Look, this isn't just a technical blueprint, it's an achievable goal. But, and this is a big but, we can't do it alone. This is where you come in. To solve a problem this big, we need a movement. And there are so many ways to make a real impact. If you're an engineer or a data scientist, you can lend your skills to open source projects. You can drive action right in your own community, advocating for these kinds of solutions. Or you can support the amazing organizations that are already on the ground deploying these technologies today. Every single contribution helps us get there faster. So when you look at it all, the technology is here, the path forward is clear, the economics actually make sense. The question really isn't if solar desalination can solve water scarcity. The only real question left is, how quickly are we as a global community going to deploy it?